Hey folks, Cheap Prepper here. I've kind of been slowing down on my videos. It's not because I've come up against like a kind of like a writer's block, but a video blogger's block. It's because I've been thinking about one topic a lot lately. Like when I wake up, I go to sleep, sometimes middle of the day. Just randomly pops into my head. And I've already kind of done a video on this topic, but I didn't really um, have the whole subject um, formulated in my head yet. And the topic is social contract. Um, and one thing I've noticed, as I stated in the other video, is I don't really notice a lot of people talking about how a social contract works. I mean, I guess they just assume that everybody knows how a social contract works. And, I kind of think the other way. I don't think a whole lot of people understand how a social contract works. Um, People go day to day in their bland little lives and just want to be left alone. Well, that's all good and well, but it doesn't mean you're going to be left alone. Um, there's a lot of people that theoretically live in fear of their government, or the government, from doing something to them that they don't want done to them. Like, in the other social contract video, I was talking about the nanny state and the police state. Those two things mixed together make a really bad place. When everything is being given to the people by the government and everybody's being watched by the government. I mean, what privacy do we have? I mean, pretty soon those two quote-unquote states will merge and become the nanny police state. I'll probably do a video at some point about FEMA camps, but I think that's what the FEMA camps are for. We've got so many people that are dependent on the government that the government's just going to throw their arms up in the air and put a lot of people in FEMA camps. But that's another video. This is social contract. I don't know if I gave the definition for social contract in the other video, but the definition of social contract is, I think it's Webster's New Collegiate Dictionary defines social contract as an actual or hypothetical agreement among individuals forming an organized society, or between the community and its ruler, limiting and defining the rights and duties of each. My first point, before I really get into too many details about what I'm going to be talking about, in either case of the definition, it's an agreement. It means to bring on oneself as an obligation, meaning that consent must be given in order for the social contract to be binding. I kind of wrote down an example. Say I contract with you for security, welfare, and mutual benefit. This binds only two people, you and me. Now, if we had to put this contract in document form, it would be written as such. We, the people of this contract, form a union for mutual security, welfare, and benefit. It's pretty simple. And I'm sure there would be more to it, but that is not the point. The point is that I'm trying to make it... Yeah, I'm trying to read my script. The point that I am trying to make is that no contract of any kind is binding unless all parties involved are in agreement. No matter what kind of contract or agreement that you enter into, it's only binding to all parties involved and you sign it, and the other party signs it. I mean, I could go down the list of things: a mortgage, buying land, buying a car, buying a house. I mean, a cell phone contract. I mean, everything has to be signed in agreement of all parties involved. And the first thing about our example social contract, or our example contract, is that it falls under the definition of social contract. It's an actual agreement and we're individuals, and we're forming an organized society. Real quick, if I can grab my handy dandy dictionary, and let's see, society. Is a voluntary association of individuals for common ends, especially an organized group working together or periodically meeting because of common interests, beliefs, or professions. We would be forming a society, like, the Audubon Society is a group of people that have formed by contract an organized society. That, I mean, it doesn't really limit a lot of rights, maybe, or responsibilities, but I don't know, I've never read the contract or the Constitution for the Audubon Society, but it has certain rules and regulations that its members have to abide by. Let's see. On to page 2. When we enter into this social contract, this contracting of rights, between you and me, it only binds you and me, nobody else. The contract has no, the contract and ourselves have no right to bind anybody else. We could state in the social contract that we suggest this contract to be taken on as an obligation, an agreement, contract, but we have no right at all to bind future generations to abiding by any part of the social contract. I mean, nothing. There is no right that we could ever procure from nature or from man that gives us the right to enter into contract for somebody else. I've had some people say that let's see. Well, hold on. Back to the no right to bind future generations. That would be slavery. Slavery is submission to a dominating influence, as defined by the handy-dandy dictionary, Webster's New College Dictionary. It would be submission to a dominating influence. I mean, government has a monopoly on government. Why? Why does government have a monopoly on government? If in this country we are not allowed to have a monopoly on a certain aspect of society or economy, why are they allowed to have a monopoly on government? I don't know, that was just a sidetrack idea. So the theory that anybody is born into compliance to a social contract is just outrageous. I mean, how is that possible? By being born, I get entered into a contract without my consent? No, absolutely not. It just does not work like that. There is no other contract in existence or has been in existence at any time that binds anybody by birth. the royal family. That makes you royal. What? By name? Blood? What makes your blood any more royal than mine? We're all the same. We're all human. What makes you any better than me? What gives you the right to say what I can and can't do? Now, imagine for a moment that I went into a court of law with a contract stating that every person from YouTube agrees to pay me $1. What happens? Especially without their signature. I'd get laughed out of the courtroom. I'd probably get put in psychiatric evaluation for 72 hours or whatever. But in the case of the government, you're going to put me in jail for such and such a crime that, yeah, I may have committed it, but I'm not bound to your rules and regulations. It's like getting charged a cell phone bill that I never consented to. Or having a mortgage payment due every month that I never consented to. Or a car payment every month that I never consented to. Consent must be given. It is not assumed, because unfortunately that's how the government thinks it works. So, I bring forth this question. How is it that anybody is bound to the social contract without their signature? If somebody can come up with an answer, I'll more than willingly debate somebody on this point. Because, by definition, nobody, since the 39 or so people that signed the original U.S. Constitution, nobody's bound by that social contract. No, it's not how it works. That's not how contracts work, man. I know that this all sounds unpatriotic and selfish, but that is for another video. I mean, I can't pile it all into one video. I will talk about the unpatriotic and selfish part in another video at some point, but not in this video. I just wanted to present the thought process and the ideology of it, because, like I said in the beginning, not a lot of people talk about how a social contract works and who's bound by the social contract. And I'm not a member of the General Will Society, because that's how a democratic republic works. Is the laws and rules and terms and conditions of society are determined by a majority vote. Sometimes it takes like 66% or 60%, but majority of the time it's a 51% majority that gets to decide how society is run and organized and determined. And my theory is it's just one great big social experiment in social engineering. So that's about it for now. I'll make up a couple more videos so that I can post them in the coming weeks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hoping it opened up your minds a little bit. Maybe I'll get some comments and debates about it. But until the next video, God bless you and yours.